This is Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. I'm Nicole, and this is Vanessa, and
Hello.
welcome.
Yes. Hello. You have a different background today.
Yay. Yes. Ignore. Yeah, so this is our cabin. This is the upstairs. Welcome.
Yes. Yes, if
Ignore.
you're not on video, go over to YouTube and watch it on video.
Right. At least the first couple seconds so you can see that I'm in a new house.
Yes.
A temporary new house.
Right.
So-
And how has it been there this week?
I don't know.
Are you ready for the new house?
Yes, I know. The dogs are confused. They're like, when are we going home?
Right.
Like, I'm tired of it being cold. And then, and I'm tired of stairs, which,
Yeah,
surprise,
right.
we have stairs at the new house.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I was home on Monday, and up here it snowed like 4 or 5 inches. And then yesterday it was 50 and rainy. So today has just been like a giant slushy mess.
So terrible.
Like the dogs go outside and they're like daintily putting their paws in the
Yes.
like, oh, I hate this. What is this? Why did you bring me to this place?
Right. And Mike went to go play out in the slushiness.
Yeah. So they're out on a quad ride right now, which at least when it's this wet out, you don't have to worry about the dust. It's just a little bit of muddy.
Right. You're just going to get covered in mud.
Maybe. Yes.
Yes.
We know the trails around here pretty well now, so we know which ones we want to avoid if there's any
Okay.
rain. But
Oh, okay.
sometimes they change a little bit, and then you show up to one and you're like, why is there a giant rut here? And it's because a whole bunch of people like got stuck,
Yeah.
and so they had to dig them out, and it just made a bigger rut. So
Oh, okay. Tim and
Yeah.
I went on our honeymoon. We went on a quad ride thing, like through the mountainside, and we got so muddy. It was so fun, but like we were both covered in mud at the end of it.
yeah. So we used to go all the time when Ethan was coming up here with us.
Uh-huh.
And that was his least favorite part of going for a quad ride, because
Really?
the rule was, well, he liked getting in the mud and driving
Uh-huh.
through the mud, but the rule was you had to wash your own quad when you came back.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So he was like, oh. And if you don't do a good job, then something happens later. Like to get really technical, the Polaris models that we have
Uh-huh.
the heat exchanger in the front.
Okay.
So he wasn't cleaning off his heat exchanger. And then on like the third ride of the day, his quad overheated. And so we were like, what is going on? And I peeked underneath and I was like, oh, it's covered in mud.
Someone didn't clean their quad.
You did a terrible job, sir.
Yes.
So luckily we keep, one of our quads has a tow rope on it that we
okay.
try to take that one out every single time. So that
Nice.
way there is a means of escape.
Right.
So yeah, we had to tow him. We had to tow him home. It was only like 5 miles
Okay.
through the woods.
Yeah.
So
Poor
but-
Ethan.
mhm.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Today is December 30th in recording days. And I would like to know how you did on your November 1st to the end of the year. You don't know?
No, I don't have a scale.
Dang it.
They packed our scale.
Okay.
So
you can't even double check yourself.
I can't even double check. So I can either say on Sunday I was good, because I did check on Sunday before they came and packed all our stuff.
Okay.
And so I'm going to take that weight, and I'm going to take my weight from when I get into my new house and I have a scale again, and I'm going to divide by 2, and I'm going to take that average, and that's going to be my end of the year weigh-in. So
right. That's fair. You're going to math it a little.
I'm going to math it a little. So you are also welcome if you are doing the same.
Well, okay, so I did look it up to see what I was on November 1st versus today, and I'm up 4 pounds. but 1.5 of that is muscle. So I'm going to take it as a win. But in that too, I also looked up what I was today last year. So I compared December 30th, 2023 to today, and I'm up 5 pounds overall for the whole year.
Wow.
And 2.5 of it is muscle.
Nice.
So I think I did pretty good this year.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Gonna say.
Yeah. I know I told you I didn't know we were doing our actual weights. So it's okay. I went down 4 pounds. Okay. I lost 4 pounds in this whole endeavor, but I also stopped running. So most of that was muscle.
Right.
So I did the opposite. I was like, I turned into a wasted away little stick.
I mean, that's fine. Once you get into the new house and you're going to get a new routine, you're going to get buff with me.
Hell yeah.
We're
going to be scary buff.
Yes. Excellent. Can't wait. Yeah, that was all. I just wanted to know how you did. So now I will wait for episode 4 or 5 for you to tell me
there you go.
Your results.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know, just because technically it's still 2024 for us. Do you have a New Year's resolution?
Not really. I don't feel like I usually make them.
Okay.
But can all of my book things be resolutions? Can we just transfer them over?
Yes. We could say, everybody go and listen to our end of year wrap-up episode for our book resolutions. Yes. But I didn't know if you had a non-book one.
I guess my only, the only health one would be to just, keep doing what I'm doing, basically, maintain. I like the idea that I'm within, a 5 pound rate. Because 5 pounds to me is, nothing. In a week that could be gone with water and eating right. And so I'm gonna say just maintain, keep my routine, do all the things. I do want to do better with hitting, this is so boring, but hitting all the macros and stuff. But yeah. So anyway, just I would say that's my health goal. I'm sure I have other goals. Maybe I'll get back to you in the next episode.
Nice. I made my health goal just a few minutes ago.
You did?
I'm gonna get scary buff.
Okay, great.
That's it.
Great. You just want to outbuff me? You want to outread me? You want to outbuff me? You're just trying to be better than me in every way.
Well, I thought we were doing this together, so
okay.
But it wasn't a competition. But it is. I'll say no. Well, sure, but I was gonna say I can modify and say I just want to have guns. I don't really care about anything else. Okay. I just want to have massive guns. So
Nicole, you can't skip leg day.
Fine.
I need you to not be misproportionate. That's the right word? Disproportionate. That's better.
But you could say misproportionate because I am female, so you're just misproportionate.
That's
so
right. Yes. So I do have something that I want to talk about, but we'll do our snacks first, and then before we get into reviews, I have book news.
Me too.
Okay, great.
So
okay, did you have good Christmas snacks? Or any
snacks
this week?
Yeah, I mean, not to get into it a lot, but since we've been up here, we don't have an oven. Right. I think I've said this before, so we're kind of limited on what we can cook. And then so I don't know, Mike's thing since we've been up here is we should try to visit every single food spot in the area that we've never been to while we've been up here. So we've been to 3 or 4. So I've done a lot of eating out. Yeah. And it's not been great.
Oh no.
But not
taste-wise?
Some of it's been not very good. Some of it's been pretty good, but just because of the lack of you know, different things you can eat and like how fresh the produce can be and like all that other stuff. Yeah. I've really had to reevaluate my vegetarian lifestyle here. So I have started eating meat again. So,
oh goodness.
I know that's probably my biggest like food snack news, but it's not like I'm like walking around eating like pieces of bacon or something.
You just got a whole steak.
Yeah, like I'm hungry, I will eat a steak. I'm feeling snacky. So yeah, but yeah, we went out and saw my mom's side of the family for Christmas. Whatever day that was, Saturday, I think. So hung out with everybody there. And my mom made green bean casserole. Ooh, so nice. I know I've used it as my snack before, but I'm using green bean casserole again because I only get to use it twice in a year. It just happens to be really close to the same time.
Right. I'm glad that you went with a repeat because I'm going to do a repeat too. I'm going to use the Sweet Lauren's oatmeal cranberry cookies because that's really the only snack I've eaten all week.
That's nice that I was there to be able to enjoy that with you.
You did. You got all of the cookies.
You made me so many cookies.
I did.
And I know some of them were for Tim as well, but or at least he ate most of them.
Yes, he did.
He did beat me on how many cookies we could eat.
100%, yes. So that's gonna be my my snack this week because I did not have anything else. Okay, tell me your book news. Tell me right now.
Okay, sweet. So this, I guess it's kind of book news. It's book news for me. Okay. I guess I'll ask you first. Do you get motion sickness? Like car, boat, plane?
Mildly.
Do you get motion sickness if you like read or look at a screen?
I'm usually okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was visiting with my aunt and uncle, and they told me, so they have iPhones, and they say that this is an iPhone setting. I don't have an iPhone, but in the iPhones, they've made an update, and now in there, you can turn on like motion sickness. I don't remember what it was called, but it's motion sickness relief. And you like turn it on, and it puts these little dots on the screen. And I guess while your phone is moving, because you're in like airplane or something, the dots move on the screen as well.
Wow.
And it's supposed to like alleviate motion sickness, right?
Okay.
And then I don't have an iPhone, so I looked it up, and I guess there's an app. So I downloaded the app. I read almost the whole way home from my mom's house all the way back to our cabin, which is about 2 hours. I was able to read the whole entire time.
And you're not usually able to.
And I can read maybe 5-15 minutes, depending on the roads, before I have to like, all right, I'll put this down for a bit, and I have to wait maybe half an hour, and then I can pick it up and read 5 or 10 more minutes. But I definitely cannot read in airplanes.
Oh, really?
And I've never.
I would have my problem is more with cars than airplanes for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely can't read in airplanes. I've never tried reading on a boat. I've never been on a cruise. But I am really super excited about it. It's just the little dots for the app are just all over the screen. Okay. And like as you're moving, the dots are just like doo, 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 and you're like, you think that would make you more sick, but it doesn't. It apparently really works. Cool. And the app that I downloaded has like, it's like a 4.7 or a 4.9 in like a million reviews.
Okay.
So
we should I'll put a link to it. You have to send me the link to that app, and then we'll put a link in the description, and then we'll figure out how to do the settings on the iPhone so we can put the directions in the description.
Yeah, it was pretty nice to be able to just read and like be a normal person.
Yeah.
So
that's really cool.
So yeah, that was my book news. I was so excited. I was going to text you right away, and I was like, no, I must save this.
Yeah, that's great book news. My book news is not like that. I just have some show and tell.
Oh, well, that's fun too.
So I got a lot of book deliveries today, bookish deliveries today. So first I'm going to show you, and again, if you're not watching the video, you can go to the video. I might put a picture on Instagram so you could see them. I got 3 new Kindle cases.
Jeez. Wow.
They were for the week of Christmas or whatever it was, right before Christmas. This shop had a sale and it was buy 2 get 1 free. So I was like, well,
yeah. I guess I need 3 new cases.
Yes. But it's just, they're so cute. I really like them. They've got a built-in strap in here. So when you're like holding it open, you've got the built-in
that's convenient.
strap. Yes.
Yeah, usually you have to buy that.
Yes. So I really like these. It's from, I don't know how you say it. I don't know if it's IM case or I'm case, but it's the letters IMCASE is the whatever. I'll put a link in there though for the ones for the Kindle, whatever. And she sells them for a bunch of different models of the Kindle too.
Nice.
Mine are paperweight. So that's my one delivery that I got today. And my other delivery was my very first Fairy Loot box.
Uh-oh.
However, so it came with 2. I got 2 because I'm doing young adult and adult. I don't know what I have. Anyway, so I got this one, which is A Language of Dragons.
Oh, that looks cute.
Yes, that one is. I haven't looked them up yet. So, but my other one is The Courting of Bristol Keats, which I just got in my Owl Crate box.
Mm-hmm.
So
you've turned into my sister.
What I'm going to do is, if you are interested, you listener, not you, Nicole.
Oh.
If you, the listener, are interested in the Fairy Loot version of The Courting of Bristol Keats, send us an email at savethestorypod.com and go to our contact form. And whoever the first one is that says they want it, I'll send it to you for free.
Wow, look at you. You're so nice.
Yeah, so it'll be a first come, first serve, and it has to be through the email, not through like DM or Instagram or anything. If you email us, yes.
Through our website, right?
Through the website. I will I'll send it to you.
Nice.
That was it.
Wow. And you said your news wasn't cool. Yours was way cooler than mine.
It's just not it's just I don't know, whatever.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
So that's that. I have no other news for you.
Oh, wow. Cool. Do you want to talk about your books?
Sure. I can go first.
Okay.
I only have one that I want to talk about today. And it's kind of a fun one.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of excited about this one. So
I think I know which one this is.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to hear about it.
Okay, good. It was a sister book club, and it's called Starter Villain by John Scalzi.
Okay.
And we listened to it on Audible. It's like 8 hours. It's kind of a shorter one. But the reason we picked it, the reason my sister picked it is because there's a very dapper looking cat on the cover in a tuxedo. And so she was like, this one seems like one we should read. And I was like, okay.
And was she correct?
She was correct.
Nice.
So it's very cute. So I have a hard time figuring out what the actual genre is. I even like looked at Goodreads, because Goodreads at the bottom of the description, it'll give you like what the genres are. Okay, so it's like adult humor, science fiction.
Okay.
I feel like that's what we'll go with, but it's more adult just for language, not for any other reasons. But so that's the genre, and it's narrated by Will Wheaton.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. So I guess Will Wheaton has narrated some other books by the same author in like the same genre or whatever. And so both my sister and I want to like pick out some other ones.
Okay.
Specifically ones that are narrated by Will Wheaton. He
Makes
was
sense.
great as a narrator. He's very expressive, very like it was great. So narration on this one as an audiobook, 2 thumbs up. Okay, so it follows Charlie. He's living his like somewhat little depressed life. He just got divorced. He's a substitute teacher, not really loving it. Living in a house that his siblings want to sell because their dad recently passed and left him the house and was like, and now all the siblings are like, we want you to get out. So he's whatever. So he's just living at home in this house with his cat. He wants to open a pub. There's one like right down the street that's for sale, and so like he goes into the bank to try to get a loan to buy this pub, and he can't get the loan. So literally just like everything in his life is just terrible.
Not working out. Yeah.
No.
Oh.
So then one day this woman shows up to his house and tells him that his long lost uncle Jake has passed away and left him, dun dun dun, his supervillain business. I told you this book is like, it's silly in like the best way.
Okay.
Okay, so he leaves him his supervillain business, complete with a volcano lair.
Nice.
Like, it's got everything.
All right.
Yes. So this woman that like comes into his life and tells him she was his Uncle Jake's like right hand person. So like she helped him with everything. So now she's coming in to talk to Charlie. So Jake has his enemies, obviously, when you own a supervillain company.
Are these new villains or his uncle's villains?
So these are the uncle's enemies that he has.
He's inherited them.
And he has inherited the enemy.
All right.
Yes. So luckily he's got some help on his side, right? He's got his the right hand person. She is explained as a terrifying hench person.
Nice.
Yes. And then obviously he also has his hyper intelligent talking cat. Talking spy cat. He's got 2 of those to help him out. And he's also got some talking dolphins.
Well.
Want to unionize, and he has to deal with that problem.
Aw.
Yes.
Now, do these dolphins have lasers on their heads?
They do not.
Missed opportunity.
Yes. So I will say the way that the dolphins talk is they talk through some software that changes their noises into English. And the cats type. So they type on a keyboard or computer or whatever, and then it's spoken to him through like the computer voice.
That's
funny. I don't know why they don't have meow. What's the word? Meow changing
translation.
Whatever. Yes, meow translation. But they type. Okay, so the whole book is basically like him finding out about what his uncle's businesses are, the people that he was associated with, like all this stuff. He has to make all these decisions for a business that is clearly very new to him. And that's really it. It gets a little wild. It gets I was not expecting talking cats when I first
even though the front cover had a cat on it.
I just thought it was a really cool, handsome cat. So I have to tell you, the tagline, like the book's tagline, is "In a dog eat dog world, be a cat." Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was really enjoyable. I thought the narration was great. He like laughs and yells and like he does all the things. Like, I don't know. It was just super cute. I ultimately gave it a 4. So it got 4 Sweet Lawrence cookies. Like I would both my sister felt exactly the same way that I did. Like we both really loved it. We both had some issues like with just general supervillain problems. So which is why we didn't give it a 5, but overall this is like the perfect palate cleanser book. So if you're like in a rut, if you are like, I don't know, just reading the same thing over and over and you just want a little break for a minute, absolutely recommend Starter Villain as like in audio form as like a little just 8-hour bloop.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, you convinced me while you were talking. I was typing it into my Goodreads to add it to my
Excellent. Yes, you should absolutely listen. It's just super cute. I don't expect a lot from it other than just like cutesy, like it's funny. Like there was a couple of parts where I like laughed at it. Like, I don't know. I just would recommend. Both my sister and I thought it was a great palate cleanser.
Nice.
So I think that's what we're going to end up using. Like we're going to pick another book of his in this same like genre, whatever style, and use it the next time we feel like we need a little break from like the thrillers or whatever that we're reading, and throw one of these in.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice to have books like that.
Yeah. So that's that.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, I'm happy that you had a good book.
Yes,
I would be sad if you were like, I had one book this week and it was terrible.
I know.
So.
Yes.
All right. Well, I have 3 books this week.
Okay.
I'm starting strong.
Great.
Technically, it's still December, so this doesn't count. But it does. I know in our end of year wrap up episode, we didn't give. Well, you gave your final total. My final total for the year I'm at 124.
Okay.
I'm at 124. I might get to 125. I have a book that I'm about 65% through with.
Okay.
So I'll probably finish that today or tomorrow. So I think I'm going to hit 125 this year.
Nice.
All
right.
So, okay. So my 3 books.
Yes.
I have many notes and I'm purposely not holding a pen. So
I don't have to mute your clicking.
Mute all my clicks. I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know. So, okay. So the first book I'm going to talk about is called Scarlet. It's by Marissa Meyer. I read this on my phone. And this is, I think on the first book, Cinder, I called it a fantasy. I still think it's a fantasy. It might be a little bit sci-fi-ish.
Okay.
Just because like people are cyborgs and like, stuff like that. Yes. So, and it's more futuristic. So I've been kind of thinking about that. I said it was fantasy. It is, I think, but I think it's kind of science fiction as well. Okay, so Scarlet is book 2 in the Lunar Chronicles. Book 1 being Cinder. I reviewed that book in episode 21. Oh, just to level set everybody, book 1, and I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget. Book 1, there's a girl named Cinder, and she lives in a future Beijing. And so I think it's like I said in the last one, they give a year of like it's 125, but it's 125 years past like World War IV, but they don't say when World War IV was. Okay. So it's at some point. And she is also a cyborg. Cinder is.
Right.
So in that book, there are 2 main story arcs. The first one being there's a plague that's ravaging the earth. And so everybody's dealing with that. And then the second main story arc is there is a race of people called Lunars, and they live on the moon. And their queen is threatening an invasion.
Okay.
So that was the first book. Now, if you read the description, it gives the end of book 1 away a little bit.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, it's not like wildly, it doesn't give it away wildly, but it kind of just tells you what at the very end happens. And you're like, okay, at the end, I know she's going to end up in this spot. So I'm not going to say it here. If you are not a spoiler fan, don't read the book 2 description, just go straight into book 2. Without giving away anything, in this book, there's two main story arcs from two people's point of view. There's Cinder, who is now still dealing with the problems from book 1. Mm-hmm. And she is trying to figure out who can help her deal with these problems. So she has all the problems from book 1, except now they're worse, and she needs somebody to help her.
Okay.
Now the second girl, her name is Scarlet, the main character of this book. They introduce her. She lives in France, and she lives on a farm with her grandmother, but her grandmother in the last few weeks has gone missing. So, so after a couple weeks of her grandmother having been missing, the police get back to her and they're like, hey, we can't find anything. There's been obviously nothing that says that there was a struggle or she was hurt or taken or anything like that. She probably just left of her own, accord, and that's just it. So we're going to close the case. Okay. So when that happens, she gets really mad and she's like, double middle finger to the police. I'm just going to find my grandmother myself. And the reason she chooses this is because she meets a gentleman. His name is Wolf.
Great name.
And and he might have info that can help her.
Okay.
So then the last part of the book, they're still in France and in space and flying around the earth. Like there's
in space, like
yes, people are doing some stuff. So a lot of stuff is going on. There's a lot of different places. And Scarlet and Cinder finally meet at the end of the book.
Okay.
And basically Scarlet is still looking for her grandmother, and now Cinder is looking for her grandmother as well, because they find out that maybe her grandmother has a pretty secret past that might be pertinent to both of them.
Okay.
So, and they have to find her before the evil queen finds her or them.
There's an evil queen too?
The Lunar Queen.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yep. So, my thoughts on the book. I am not really a fan of Scarlet.
No.
So, yeah, it was just like, I really like Cinder. I like Wolf. But Scarlet is, I don't know, one-dimensional, if you want to, or singular focused. She wants to find her grandmother, and that's her whole personality.
I see.
And
did you say that you read this one, or did you listen?
I read this one.
You did? Did you skim her?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I have not been skimming these books. As a side note, I've been trying to force myself to not skim and to read slower.
Good.
When books get exciting. Because that's always my biggest regret is that, like, I have to read it fast. So I've been trying to work on that. So
good. I'm proud of you.
I did not do that for this book.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, very singular focused. It's just her whole personality. They're like, hey, how are you? And she's like, I'm looking for my grandmother. And I'm like, and then they're like, hey, do you want something to eat? And she's like, I can't eat. I'm looking for my grandmother. Like, it's just that over and over again. Okay. I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah. And on top of that, she's way too trusting. Like she meets Wolf, and everybody, like, I'm reading the book and I'm like, is Marissa purposely writing Wolf to be like, don't trust him? Because everything in my mind was like, don't trust him.
Like, red flag.
And but then she's like, yeah, it's okay. You look trustworthy, or you seem trustworthy. And I'm like, okay.
Great.
So
she's real smart.
She's real trusting. So wildly naive. And I was just kind of like, oh man. So in this one, it's a little bit more obvious than in the first book. Because in the first book, they talk about Cinder being like a great mechanic and all this other stuff. Well, she's a cyborg. And I know she doesn't have like a full cyborg brain, but like her brain is connected to the internet, like the neural net or whatever. Okay. So in my mind, I'm like, why does this girl who's a cyborg, whose brain is connected to the internet, and she can look things up, and anything you could do with a computer, she can do in her brain, right? Okay. Why isn't she better at computers?
Like, no.
It just doesn't make sense to me that, like,
it does not.
They're like, oh man, she has this, she can't do certain things. Like, oh man, in my mind, I'm like, this would be super easy if you were just like, you know, like, oh, I don't know. It's just, there's certain, I don't want to give away things that happen in the book, but there are things that happen in the book, and I'm like, this would be so much easier if Cinder just used her internet brain.
Right. Does she not do it because she doesn't want people to know? Or like...
No, everybody knows she's a cyborg now.
Oh.
So...
Then I have no options or no input.
I have... Now that I've read the third book, I understand why.
Okay.
But while I was reading the book, I was like, why is this a thing? So, in the first book review, in the Cinder book review, I mentioned this, and I said there was not a lot of backstory. Like, why are the Lunars not friends with the Earth people?
Yeah.
Why don't they get along? Why was there, why are they fighting? Why does she want to take over the Earth? Like, why are these things? They still don't answer that.
Great.
I maintain that hopefully it will happen in 3 or 4, but I'm not thinking it's going to. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, you're just... a lot of stuff is happening, but I don't know. I don't feel like the book ends any further. They're not any more in the loop of what they need to do. Or by the end of the book, they're like, we need to do this thing. So they spend the whole book to get direction to do one thing. And now there's like twice as many people in the book. So if you are... not a fan of lots of characters or multiple storylines or anything like that, it does get kind of back and forthy.
Okay.
I'm not sad I read the book, but, and like I said, I've already started book 3, but I would say I would only give this one like a 3. Okay. So the second book I read is also a fantasy. This one is actually a fantasy. I read it on my phone. It was Kindle Unlimited, and it is called Empress of All Seasons by Emiko Jean.
Okay.
So, in this fantasy, I don't feel like I'm going to give like a great rundown because there's so much happening in this book.
Okay.
There's so much backstory.
Yeah, that's hard to... It's hard to like explain that without being like, here's the whole backstory.
Here's the entire book. So in this fantasy world that she lives in, her name is Mari. In this fantasy world Mari lives in, every generation of emperors that like come down the line, the queen is chosen by trial, I guess. So all these girls show up once a generation, and they all have to complete these quests or these trials in order to win. And whoever the last girl standing is made the empress to the emperor.
Okay.
So, you like hundreds of girls show up, and only one leaves. Are they
forced into this, or is this
nope?
They want to do this?
Yep.
Okay.
So like I said, the girl's name is Mari, and she has, if you want to call it, a leg up on the competition, because she has a secret. She has a secret ability. Okay. Now, if you read the book description says she can transform into a terrifying monster.
Okay.
I consider it to be closer to shape-shifting.
Oh, all right.
But,
and she can do it into anything?
Nope, just this one thing.
One, okay.
Right. But unfortunately, in that time, you're not supposed to have magic. You're not supposed to be a magical creature. If you are found using magic or are a magical creature, then you will either be enslaved or killed outright.
Great.
Yeah. So Mari has her reasons, but regardless of that, she is going to compete.
Okay.
While she's there, she meets the prince, and they have instant chemistry, of course, and but Mari is not sure if she can share her biggest secret with him, which you know what it is, he doesn't. Okay. So, and that's the book.
Okay.
So, my thoughts on Mari. And I wrote this down while I was reading. I don't usually write it down while I'm reading.
Right.
But I did for this because I was like, come on, Mari. Like, what the heck? Yeah. You have trained your whole life to be like a superb fighter. Your mother has trained you for this position your entire life. And she's just a terrible fighter.
Oh, no.
Like, she freezes. She gets, I think there's like 4 or 3 rooms that she had, like, there's trials in.
Oh, okay.
And like all 3 of them, somebody else like does it for her.
Oh,
So
no.
like helps her like get to the last round. So I'm like, what is going on here?
Okay.
So
she was like built up to be like this like great, smart, whatever fighter, and she turned out to just relies on everybody else.
Yeah, it was weird. Right. It was a weird choice.
Okay.
I thought it was a weird choice for the author to make, to be like, to spend all that time and then just be like, never mind. Right. So in this book, I think there is some basis on like Japanese mythology. There are so many magical creatures, and so many people have like full magic, half magic. There's all these types of creatures, all these types of people. Okay. And it is a lot. It was a lot for me. You can go to the end of the book and go through everything and see what they are. And yeah, but because I was on Kindle, I was just like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Yeah. And I was like, after a while, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So
when I did, what was that book called? When the Moon Falls or something?
Oh, When the Moon Hatched or something?
Oh, yes, When the Moon Hatched. I had to have the book open on my Kindle and on my phone, like the Kindle app, because I was using my Kindle app on my phone as like the glossary and then reading on my actual Kindle. Yeah, I had to do it for that too. So there's no way I could have like gone back and forth in the same device.
Yeah, I'm going to have to probably, like, next time I'll probably do something like that. Yeah. Like, this book it's done. So
if it comes up again.
If it comes up again, I will do that. But this book has a very YA type of romance. Okay. It's one-dimensional. It's the type where they're like, hello, nice to meet you. My name is so-and-so. And then they meet again, and now they've spoken, and they're like, oh, haha, you're so funny. And then, like, the third conversation, they're, like, both in love with each other.
Love. Yep.
Yeah. So
okay.
It was just what it is. The pace is weird.
All right.
Like, the first whole bunch of the book, a giant part of the book was the prep for the competition. So pre-competition, like the backstory, all the magic and stuff like that. And then, so you kind of just walk through all of that. And then like you're quick stepping through the competition. The competition's like half of that. So, and then I'm convinced I was convinced that there was going to be a sequel because I got to like 5 pages left.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how she's going to wrap this up. I have 5 pages, but she ended it.
She ends it up in 5 pages.
5 pages. It just ends. And I was like, there has to be a book 2. Like maybe it's just not come out yet. It's not done anything. No, this book I think was written in like, I have to go back and look, but I think it said 2018.
Oh.
So
if there was going to be another one, you would think it would be out already.
Yeah.
Or
so
at least
you
announced or something.
Right. She just ended it. So yeah, it kind of wraps up. It wraps up a really weird ending. It happens really fast. There is a couple, you know how at the beginning of chapters, or like they have like a mythology story or something like that in addition. So this has the similar things, like it tells like a mythological or historical, story along with the book.
Okay.
This had one of those as well. And in the end, there's an epilogue where it's the ending to that, myth, like that myth.
Uh-huh.
And from what I assume the author was trying to do is you're supposed to take it as that myth is basically what happened here again.
I see. Okay.
So, yeah. So it was kind of like a surprise. The book is over. Here's something where you kind of just like choose your own ending or imagine your own ending.
Okay. That doesn't sound great.
Yeah, I was sad that it ended as not a sequel, with no sequel. I would have preferred there to be a sequel because it's wildly open. The end, you're like, I see why you ended where you did if there was another book. But it was like, twist. Okay, surprise, and then another twist, and then like you're like, okay, and then there's like a final twist, and you're like, why do you twist so much in 5 pages?
Yeah, that's not great. So so I'm guessing what your rating is based on all of your review. So Tell me what it is.
I said like 3.
That's what I thought you were gonna give it.
Yeah. I'm not sad that I read the book. It was still like a pretty good book. I never really got to the point where I was like, I'm not sure about this.
Me3 or a U3?
I'm giving it a U3. Okay. Just like completely middle of the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, okay, my last book.
Okay.
This book is dun 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 Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
So
I asked you about this in the last episode, right?
Yeah. So I was supposed to, like I said, one of my goals for this year was like to try and read a book that I've seen as a movie or vice versa, or to do that. And Jurassic Park was on my list of one of the books as one of my books. And then
now, though, are you going to still do 2 in 2025, even though you did this one?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes. So I've picked another book and TV show, and this one is a true one. I've never read the book or seen the TV show. So, but for this one, I've already seen the movie, and I obviously am now reading the book. So this is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton, audio. I did it on audio and fantasy. So
that sounds good.
Fantasy. So, just for those of you who are listening, if you are not aware, Jurassic Park is also a movie that was made in the 90s. You should go watch it.
If you haven't seen it yet, there's something you are missing out, man.
I know, you need to go watch it. It's really good. So because of that, I was super nervous about reading this book.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the book is about, so what is the book about, because it's, so if you've seen the movie, it's basically the movie. There's an island off the coast of Costa Rica, and there's a company creating an advanced theme park or resort with an attraction that nobody's ever seen. But this island is on the brink of being shut down. And for reasons, I think in the movie it was like insurance or something, or they want to make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
So the company founder, John Hammond, is like, well, what if I invite a whole bunch of scientists to the island and they see it and they're like, oh yes, this is a credible thing and it's super safe and we're doing everything that we should be doing and blah blah blah. So they're like, yes, that's a great idea. So John Hammond invites a paleontologist, a paleobotanist, and a mathematician to the island. And what do all those have in common? Could it be a dinosaur theme park? It is.
Yes.
In case you were curious.
Yeah, I didn't know where it was going.
Yes. And this dinosaur theme park has alive dinosaurs.
Yes.
Okay. So their expertise was very much needed.
Yes.
Okay. So thoughts. The movie is 100% better.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't remember what this one was rated on Goodreads. I think it was 4 point something.
Okay.
I actually went through and read some of the reviews. Usually I don't, but I did go through and people were like, I love the book. The book is the best. I love it better than the movie. I don't know how you could.
Okay.
I'm convinced I'm convinced they were the people who read the book before the movie came out.
Okay.
That's the only thing that it could be. Yeah. But all of their reviews are too new for that. So So if you want to call it nostalgia, I'll take that into account.
Okay.
But the movie was better.
Okay.
Bottom line up front.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, Steven Spielberg did a great job condensing the characters in the book down, or characters in the plot down.
Okay.
He did a fantastic job because in the book there are twice as many characters, like main characters.
Really?
Yeah, so like Ellie, the like Grant's like girlfriend in the movie.
Yeah.
They're just co-workers in the book. That's not a big deal. There doesn't have to be a love interest there, but she plays a wildly minor role in the book.
Oh,
she talks like 3 times.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's wildly different.
Yes. So do you remember the part in the movie where they go out to the sick Triceratops and they meet that doctor?
Uh-huh.
He plays a huge role in the book. He has like a main character arc in the book.
Okay.
The lawyer who dies on the toilet by the Tyrannosaurus pen. Yeah. He has a bigger role in the book. He's in the whole entire book.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So in the book, there's just so much more plot.
Okay.
For lack of, how to explain that a little bit better. There's just so much more going on. There's the part where Grant and the kids are trying to make their way back from the Triceratops or from the Tyrannosaurus pen. Where in the movie, it's still a big portion of it. It's less than, I would say, half of what happens to them in the book. They're just constantly going through stuff in the book. Okay. I did notice that some of the stuff in the book was used in like the other Jurassic Park movies, like 2 through 100 or however many there are now. So, So
I wonder if the movie had to change things with all the characters and stuff because they had to have such a higher budget for like CGI and all of that they couldn't have the high of a budget for actors. So they were like, we've got to cut this character list in half.
Right. Yeah. And that makes sense. Also, a side note, in the book on when they do that in the cars and they're going through the jungle or whatever, how in the movie you don't really see any until they get to the Triceratops.
Yeah.
You see in the book they see every single dinosaur.
Okay. I like that the movie did it differently because it gave it more like intrigue and like Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, look, they all just hang out right here by the Jeep.
Right. Yeah. They just reach out and pet them like it's a safari. Right. Yeah. So, so it's kind of the main takeaways from the book and the movie. I would say there is one more main thing, I guess. The book has more sinister vibes than the movie did. Like, the movie was just like a guy, and he made this theme park, and he wanted to share it with the world, and his grandkids came, and he was happy to see them and stuff like this. This one is not like that. John Hammond is way more sinister, and InGen is way more sinister, and all these people, like, not like evil sinister, but like money grubbing sinister, if you want to like call it. So my thoughts on the book is, good Lord, the kids in this book are annoying, the grandkids. No. So in the movie, they bumped up their age.
Oh, okay.
And
they're younger in the book?
They're younger in the book.
Oh my goodness.
And they swapped. So in the book, in the book, the girl is younger and the boy is older.
All right.
So they like swapped them. So the girl is older and the boy is younger, and kind of split up their characters a little bit.
Oh, all right.
Like, they're defining like things that, you know, were unique to each of them. They kind of divvied out differently.
All right.
Malcolm's character is about the same, except he is, by the end of the book, I was pushing like 30 seconds forward when he was talking, because he would have like 5-minute monologues about like how, you know, and at first I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, but then at the end it was just like, you're destroying the earth and you think that you are like the, you know, like the king of the world, and like you can just do these things. That being said, they did a great job in the movie, like glossing over, paraphrasing all that down. Jeff Goldblum has some great lines, you know.
Where you still get the same vibe from him, but it's not as like
it's just not,
or
it's just not preachy.
Okay.
So yeah. That being said, I way more preferred the characters in the movie as well. Okay. I appreciate so in the book, my last thought on the book is, in the book, there is more description for like how the theme park was built and how they got the dinosaurs, because you know how in the movie it's just like they're in that movie theater and they're like, this is how we made dinosaurs. Like, this goes into this is how we made dinosaurs, and this is how we raise dinosaurs, and this is how we keep dinosaurs, and this is how we like Michael Crichton did a lot of in the weeds of, this is how I would run a dinosaur amusement park if I had one, right? Yeah. I thought it was just a lot. Right. And then the plot of the, you know, how like the whole thing comes to an end because that guy is going to steal the embryos. He shuts the park down. There's a storm at the same time. And that's kind of the only thing in the movie that you get is, this is why everything failed. Yeah. In the book, he goes deeper into why this is why everything failed. All right. And some of it is, I liked, some of it came down to computers are stupid in the 90s. And I was like, All
right. Interesting.
Were they? Yeah. Like, all right. I had no clue. Right. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I struggled with a rating on this one because I think the movie, like
it was hard.
Movie's better.
Yeah, it's hard.
1,000%.
So much, right?
Yeah, like if I said that Jurassic Park was one of my favorite movies that I've ever watched, you know, at least top 5 or 6 or something, you know, like this book is definitely not in my top 5 or 6.
That's a hard comparison to make if it's that high of a movie. Next time, don't pick such a great movie.
I know. So, yeah, I gave this one, I guess, a 3, like a straight middle of the road. Like I said, I struggled with the rating on this one because I really liked the movie and I recognized that influenced the book. But besides the kids being super whiny and Malcolm being preachy, the rest of the book I listened to, I enjoyed, even the parts where I was kind of like, okay. If it wasn't for the kids in Malcolm's like 300 monologues, I probably would have enjoyed this book a lot more. So I'll say 3, but I'm willing to negotiate higher.
Fair.
So
I know Mike was listening to at least the first part of it with you. Did he end up finishing it?
He hasn't finished it. He's about I think he's less than halfway though. Okay. So
but is he still enjoying it?
Yeah, he's enjoying it.
Okay.
But I don't think he's gotten to the end. Up until that part, he had pretty much the same thoughts that I did. But I'm interested to see what he feels when the whole book is over.
Check in again with him when he finishes.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's my books.
Okay. Let me move a little bit so I can get our little question.
Hey.
All right. Okay. All right. What are your thoughts on book clubs? We kind of had a little conversation about this in our end of the year episode, right?
Yeah. Or we talked about, because I think we said that it would be nice if our book clubs were just you show up and you're like, this is what I read in the last since I've seen you. And then you kind of just like listen to everybody else talk about what they liked and didn't liked, and then why or not why, or what you would recommend. And I know we both said that would be like a really nice.
That's a great book club.
Yeah, that would be a great idea for our book club. But regular book clubs where everybody takes turn picking books and like doing stuff like that, I am not a fan.
Yeah. So I was in my first one ever this last 2 years, I guess, year and a half. I was in one, and I would say it was very I really enjoyed going and meeting with them every month. Like being around book people is just fun, because ultimately what ends up happening after you talk about the book you've talked about is everyone kind of talks about what they're reading. So like that is always, that part of it was fun. But I will say that like half of the books that we read as a book club, I just weren't my typical book or genre or whatever, or just weren't great. And that's not necessarily to say that like all book clubs are like that. It just like, or even that this book club was bad, but just not. I think it's hard when everybody in the book club has different likes and genres and all that. Like when you have if every single person in the book club is all picking the same genre, I feel like there's probably more of a higher success rate of like of everybody liking it. So I think I really enjoyed it. I liked doing it. It was really fun to go all the time, but it was really hard for me, especially on the months where I was just like, this book I don't care about at all. And so I either had to force myself to do it, or I would go and be like, yeah, I didn't read this, or like and that's not fun.
Yeah just showing up to be like, I DNF'd it. What's the next book?
Yeah, exactly. Also, I was so stressed out when it was my turn to pick a book, like beyond stressed. So I don't like that part. I just, can I be in a book club where I don't have to pick any books?
Yeah. I know it's not book club, but it's like I think they call it book retreat. My sister has done a couple. I guess there's a girl in Michigan. She started out where she would like invite her friends to like they'd get like an Airbnb, and then they'd all show up and they would talk about books, and they would sit around and read books, and they'd do like book things, and they'd go out and get dinner or whatever. And I guess their friends told their friends, and their friends told their friends, so the whole pyramid scheme happened.
Yes.
And now she quit her job, and now she just runs a company or runs a business where she just does events,
like plans
these events for people to go on book retreats, and they go to like, you know, like a lake house or like a castle, you know, air quotes, or, you know, like those Airbnbs that used to be castles or something, you know, so they go out and do stuff like that. And my sister's been to 2 or 3 of them, and she's going on another one next year, like a big one. I guess it's huge. I don't know, but she said that she really likes them because like you just show up and
go and read.
So you can, if you just want to go there and be antisocial and read, you can, because like the one she went to, they had like a lake house. So some people, you know, went out and did things on the lake, and some people just stayed at the beach and read, and some of them, you know, stayed inside, and like, and I think it includes
what's the like goal? Why is it a book retreat? Is it because you go and the idea is it's just book people, or is it you go and talk about books?
Yeah, so it's like a book club, and then I guess now that she's like, they do like a book swap where you can bring books and swap with other people. Like you fill out this whole questionnaire about what your favorite type of genre is, and books and likes and dislikes and stuff like that. And I think she's been doing it long enough now where like she has like a deal with, maybe, I don't know if she pays them or that she gets them for free, but like she works with indie authors where she like, you show up and you get like a sweater or like a t-shirt or something, and like 2 or 3 books from these indie authors. So yeah, I mean, cool. Yeah. So I don't know. It's like one of those things where I was like, I would do that. And then I would show up and be like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to read a book. And then why did I spend $300? You know? So.
Yep. Well, we can do one. Let's us do one. Let's bring in Hannah.
Okay.
My friend Laramie. If you want to come.
All right.
You're invited too.
My sister. All these people.
And we can just all go hang out and talk about books and read. And
there we go.
Not pay somebody
hundreds of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can have the first one at my house.
Okay.
To try it out.
Well, okay.
Just to try it out.
More of like a go somewhere, like a trip.
Well, you're going somewhere, but yes, fine. We'll do it wherever we choose. Wherever everybody wants to meet up.
All right, great. Fun. This sounds fun. Like a annual book club instead of a monthly book club.
Yeah. Just tell me all 125 books you read this year.
That's right.
Go.
All right. Well, I think that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did you say, do you like them or don't like them overall? Book clubs.
I would say I'm 50%.
That's what I was going to say. I'm 50-50 on book clubs.
Yes. I feel like it has to be the right kind of book club for me to be like fully bought into it.
Yeah. Like a book club run by a podcast where we read a book in a month and then you listen to us talk about it.
And you send us your thoughts on it.
You send us your thoughts.
Yes, that kind of book club. Great.
I can do that.
Speaking of that, Breaking Dawn. Maybe do that because we have to read that by the end of the month.
Yes.
Neither of us have started it.
Mm-mm.
So
mine is packed, so I can't even start it until they deliver all our stuff.
Nicole.
I did this to myself.
Yeah, you did. So my plan is this week I'm actually going to do my reread of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. And then as soon as I finish those 2 this week, I'm going to read Breaking Dawn because I already have a feeling that Onyx Storm is going to get in my way. And then it's going to just be like, I won't have time. So I got to finish.
That's fair.
Next week. So yeah, send us an email, saveastorypod.
Especially if you want a book.
Yes. Send us all your things on Breaking Dawn, and also if you want the whatever this book is. What did I say? The Courting of Bristol Keats, the Fairy Loot version. Send an email. And then also send an email about whatever you want, just like snack recommendations, book recommendations, what you want us to talk about, all the things. And then give us 5 stars, please.
Woo-woo. Yeah, 5 stars. Give us all the stars.
Yes, and let us know if you're watching the videos and how you're feeling about them. Nicole will have another new background
in a couple weeks.
Yeah, because she will not be at the cabin anymore. So yeah,
it'll be like a traveling podcast.
That's right. Well, that's it. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening. Go on. Get out of here.